I want to start this video today a little bit differently because if you've followed any of my work for any length of time, you've heard me use this term before, conation. As a matter of fact, last week's video, I shared how conation helped my family make a decision, so you can go check that one out. But I realized that some of you might still be wondering, yeah, I've heard you say that word before, but what exactly is conation? Because I'm not entirely sure what it means. So in this video, I'm going to help you understand why it's important right now to understand conation. You see, we're in a moment where leaders are being asked to do more faster with less margin for error. AI is being introduced into teams. Companies are mandating return to office after years of hybrid work, and decision cycles are compressing, and patience at every level is razor thin. What I'm seeing over and over again is leaders trying to fix speed, accountability, and execution, but without understanding how their people are actually wired to do the work. And when you don't understand that, you don't just slow down your team, you quietly exhaust them. The easiest way for me to explain conation is for you to think about a rip current. Living here in South Florida, we're surrounded by the ocean. And from time to time, at the beach, we experience rip currents. Now, lifeguards warn us to never try to swim back through the rip. Because here's the rule: if you get caught in one, don't swim against it, because it doesn't matter how strong of a swimmer you are, how fit you are, or how badly you want to get back to shore. If you fight the current, it will only exhaust you. And that's exactly what's happening inside of most organizations every single day. So let's dive into an actual example of what this looks like for this team. Stick around. Hello, my friends. In case you're new and you haven't seen me yet, I'm Alicia Couri. I'm the CEO of Audacious Concepts, Inc. We're a boutique leadership advisory firm specializing in helping leaders accelerate their time to impact in their first 90 days in a leadership role and helping their teams become high performing and results driven by improving communication, collaboration, and cooperation. Burnout. It's a physics problem. There's a lot of talk out there about burnout, like it's a motivation issue or a resilience issue or a workload issue. But often, burnout is a physics problem. People are being asked to work against their natural way of taking action over and over again. First comes the mental fatigue, then emotional exhaustion, then disengagement. Not because people are weak, but because they're swimming against their natural wiring. And this is where conation comes in. Conation has nothing to do with personality. It's not about attitude. It's not about skill. Conation is how you instinctively take action when you're free to be yourself. It's how much detail you naturally need, how much structure gives you confidence, how you associate with risk, uncertainty, and change, and how you interact with your physical environment. It's how you naturally make decisions and solve problems under pressure. And this is the part I don't want you to miss, because you can train skills and you can coach behavior, but conation doesn't change. So when organizations force people to override it, the cost doesn't show up immediately. It shows up emotionally. I've mentioned before the research by Dr. Cy Wakeman that employees lose an average of 2.5 hours per day to emotional waste. That's frustration, tension, second guessing, mental drag. And that's not because people are dramatic. Well, maybe sometimes they are, but it's because they're operating inside systems that fight how they're naturally wired to work. Let's do the math on that. That's over 600 hours per year per employee. Not lost to laziness, but lost to friction. Now, let me bring this back to the client that I shared a week ago. Remember that Midwest plumbing company we talked about? The conflict between the HR manager and the operations manager, Lana and Dexter? See, on the surface, it looked like a reporting problem. Missing details, incomplete end of the day reports, frustration on both sides. But once we looked underneath the behavior, something very different showed up. Lana, our HR leader, is someone who builds confidence through clarity. She needs information to be complete. She needs it organized. She needs it consistent. For her, structure isn't control. Structure is how she ensures accuracy, fairness, and accountability. When information is thorough and consistent, she trusts the system. Our operations leader, Dexter, is wired very differently. He's hands-on. He initiates by building. He simplifies information as he goes and adjusts in real time. He can accommodate some structure, but not in great detail. It's not where he naturally lands. His strength is with his hands, concrete solutions built to last. So being asked to stop, document, and detail everything at the end of the day was genuinely painful for him. Not because he didn't care, not because he was irresponsible, but because the process worked against how he naturally took action. Neither of them knew this, and the CEO was unaware of this as well. So when he told them to just figure it out, how could they? Because instead of seeing a design mismatch, they saw each other as the problem. Lana experienced Dexter as careless. Dexter experienced her as overly controlling. And what was actually a wiring difference turned into personal conflict. And this is what happens when leaders don't understand conation. People stop talking about how work should be designed and start judging each other's intent. They weren't misaligned because they were difficult people. They were misaligned because the system was asking both of them to work against themselves. This is why companies keep fixing the wrong things. They add process, they mandate tools, they roll out AI, but they never ask, are we designing work in alignment with how our people are wired to perform it? When you swim against the current, you don't build strength, you burn it. And when organizations ignore conation, they don't lose time first, they lose money, and then they lose their people. So if you're finding yourself swimming against the current in your organization and need to make a shift to swim parallel to the shore so you can ride the waves back in, reach out to us, audaciousconceptsinc.com. There, you'll find a team alignment survey and our invitation to our upcoming executive forum. If your need is more immediate, email support@aliciacouri.com and let's set up a time to chat. And I'll see you on our next video where I'll go into even more detail about Lana and Dexter's conflict and what was showing up every single day in that work environment. I'll see you then.